Imagine a state so vast it stretches from the bustling lights of Times Square to the quiet shores of Lake Ontario. A place rich with natural beauty, historical towns, and breathtaking landscapes. Yet more than 60% of New York State's entire population lives in just one corner of it, less than 5% of the total landmass, crammed into the dense urban sprawl of New York City and its immediate suburbs. That leaves the vast expanse of upstate New York nearly empty. Why? What's driving millions to cluster together in one overcrowded corner while entire towns upstate are left behind, hollowed out, and forgotten? In this video, we're diving deep into the 10 biggest reasons why nobody lives in upstate New York. Before we get into it, if you enjoy content like this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're pulling back the curtain, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's dive in. Upstate New York has suffered from long-term economic stagnation and job losses, especially since the collapse of its manufacturing base in the late 20th century. Cities like Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse were once industrial powerhouses, but as factories shut down or moved overseas, jobs disappeared and population declines followed. Between 2010 and 2020, Brooklyn alone added more jobs than the entire upstate region combined. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, job growth across much of upstate has remained flat or negative for years. For example, Buffalo's job market grew just 1.6% between 2010 and 2020 compared to the national average of around 14%. Moreover, the region lacks the booming tech and finance sectors that drive economic growth in other parts of the state. As a result, younger residents often leave in search of better opportunities elsewhere, fueling a cycle of economic and demographic decline. One of the most persistent deterrents to living in upstate New York is the state's high tax burden, which disproportionately affects regions outside of New York City. Property taxes in many upstate counties are among the highest in the country. According to WalletHub, New York ranks as the worst state for property taxes, with an average rate of 1.72%, translating to roughly $3,755 annually on a median-priced home, nearly double the national average. On top of this, residents pay steep income taxes with a top marginal rate of 8.82%. While these taxes fund essential services, many upstate communities receive fewer economic returns in the form of public infrastructure or job creation compared to wealthier downstate regions. Combined with stagnant wages and low job growth, this heavy tax load becomes untenable for many households. These financial pressures lead many to relocate to more tax-friendly states like Florida or Texas. Upstate New York is infamous for its brutal winters, which often include extended periods of sub-zero temperatures and massive snowfalls. Cities like Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo regularly rank among the snowiest in the U.S. Syracuse, for instance, averages about 115 inches of snow annually, while areas in the Tug Hill Plateau can receive over 200 inches and have historically seen over 400 inches in extreme seasons. The constant need for snow removal, heating, and winter maintenance adds to residents' cost of living and can be physically exhausting. Additionally, harsh winters disrupt travel, extend school closures, and create hazardous road conditions for months on end. These severe conditions can be a major deterrent for potential residents, particularly retirees and families with small children. For those seeking milder, more predictable climates, upstate New York's 6-month-long winters are often a deal-breaker, contributing to ongoing population outflows. Upstate New York has been steadily losing population for decades. From 2010 to 2020, many upstate counties experienced outright population declines, even as the nation as a whole grew by 7.4%. For example, counties like Chemung, Chautauqua, and Delaware saw losses of over 5%. A major factor is the brain drain phenomenon. Young, educated residents leave the region for better job opportunities in cities like New York, Boston, or Charlotte. According to a report by the Rockefeller Institute, upstate loses more college graduates than it gains, weakening its talent pool. This migration pattern reduces economic dynamism and discourages businesses from investing locally. A shrinking population also means declining school enrollments, reduced political clout, and fewer state resources. As communities shrink, they face a vicious cycle. Fewer residents mean fewer businesses and services, which in turn drives more people away. This slow-motion demographic collapse compounds the region's broader economic woes. Upstate New York suffers from a crumbling infrastructure problem that impacts daily life and economic development. According to the American Society of Civil Engineers, ASCE, 43% of the state's roads are in poor or mediocre condition, many of them in upstate counties. Bridges are also a concern. Over 10% of the state's bridges are structurally deficient, and many of those are outside the New York City metro area. Aging water systems, outdated electrical grids, and failing public transit further add to the burden. Cities like Albany and Syracuse are still dealing with 100-year-old water mains, which are prone to breaks and leaks. These deteriorating systems increase maintenance costs for municipalities and can dissuade new business investment. In some towns, failing infrastructure has also led to boil water advisories and flood issues. With limited budgets and declining tax bases, many upstate communities struggle to fund repairs, deepening the region's decline. We're about halfway through, and now I want to hear from you. Have you ever lived in upstate New York or maybe visited and thought about moving there? What was your experience like? Do you agree with the reasons we've listed so far, or do you think there's more to the story? Let me know in the comments. I try to read and respond to as many as I can because your perspectives add so much depth to these conversations. And while you're there, drop any suggestions for future videos. Whether it's another region to explore or a topic you're curious about, I'd love to hear your ideas. And of course, if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, don't forget to hit like, and if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Outside a few major upstate cities like Buffalo, Rochester, and Albany, public transportation options are extremely limited. In rural and suburban parts of the region, residents are overwhelmingly car-dependent. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, over 85% of upstate residents commute alone by car, and public transit usage in many counties is below 2%. Even in cities with transit systems, routes are often limited in frequency and coverage. This lack of reliable transportation can isolate lower-income residents, seniors, and people without vehicles, restricting access to jobs, healthcare, and education. In contrast, downstate residents benefit from extensive subway, commuter rail, and bus systems. The limited public transportation also deters young professionals and environmentally conscious individuals who prioritize walkable, transit-accessible living. Without serious investment in transit infrastructure, upstate remains unattractive to both residents and potential employers, especially those seeking to locate in communities with modern, multimodal transportation options. The housing market in upstate New York remains stagnant or declining in many areas, unlike the soaring real estate values seen in other parts of the country. In cities like Binghamton, Utica, and Elmira, home values have grown slowly or even fallen, leading to property devaluation and limited equity growth for homeowners. Zillow reports that the average home value in places like Elmira hovers around $120,000. Far below the state average of over $400,000. While affordability might seem like a plus, these low home values often reflect weak demand, economic stagnation, and deteriorating housing stock. In shrinking towns, vacant homes and abandoned properties are common, which can depress neighborhood appeal and attract crime. This makes it difficult for residents to sell their homes or recoup investments, creating a sense of being trapped in declining communities. A soft housing market with few signs of revitalization is a key reason people leave or never move in. While upstate New York is home to several respected colleges and universities, such as Cornell, Syracuse University, and the University at Buffalo, many graduates leave the region after completing their education. This is largely because the area lacks robust professional networks, major corporate headquarters, and job pipelines in high-growth industries like tech and biotech. According to a study by the Empire Center, nearly 190,000 people with college degrees left New York State between 2010 and 2019, with most of that loss coming from upstate. Moreover, smaller cities often struggle to retain talent due to limited local job opportunities and cultural amenities. Startups and innovative companies gravitate toward regions with venture capital, global connectivity, and a large talent pool, factors that are more prevalent in downstate or out-of-state metros. Without strong local industries to absorb graduates, the region continues to export its educated youth, weakening long-term economic prospects. Public education in many upstate districts faces significant challenges, from underfunding to declining enrollment. Shrinking populations mean reduced state and federal funding, leading to school consolidations, larger class sizes, and cuts to programs. According to the New York State School Boards Association, over 50 upstate districts have merged or been dissolved in the past few decades due to falling enrollment and financial strain. Additionally, academic outcomes in several rural and inner-city upstate schools fall below state averages, with standardized test scores and graduation rates lagging behind. In places like Rochester and Syracuse, high poverty rates and limited resources further strain school performance. These issues not only hurt current students, but also deter young families from moving into the region. In contrast, families often choose to settle in areas with well-funded schools and broader extracurricular options, and unfortunately, many upstate districts struggle to compete. Compared to New York City or even nearby metro areas like Boston or Philadelphia, upstate New York often lacks a vibrant cultural scene and entertainment infrastructure. While there are exceptions, such as the Finger Lakes Wine Region or the Saratoga Performing Arts Center, many communities have few options for nightlife, dining, or arts and entertainment. This can be particularly off-putting to young adults and professionals who prioritize social connectivity, events, and cultural engagement. Additionally, smaller towns may have limited diversity, which can make newcomers feel isolated. Economic constraints and population loss also mean fewer investments in theaters, museums, or public events. The result is a lifestyle that can feel limited or stagnant, especially for those accustomed to the dynamism of urban life. Without a compelling lifestyle offering to match affordable living, upstate struggles to attract and retain residents, particularly those with disposable income and mobility. Upstate New York is a land of contradictions, beautiful yet struggling, full of potential yet haunted by decades of decline. It's a place where nature thrives but communities falter, where highways are empty and main streets are quiet. The reasons people are leaving, or never coming at all, are complicated, but they're very real. Hopefully this video gave you a clearer picture of what's going on beyond the city skyline. If it did, let us know with a like, and be sure to subscribe for more deep dive videos into the places and issues that often go unnoticed. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and never stop exploring the stories behind the map.